record company, and I don't want to lambaste nobody's name or anything, but they told me, Hammer, you know what the problem is? You're a little too clean. Do a few things that maybe dirty up your image a little bit. Maybe we can sell a little more records. I've had all that. I told them, that's not me. I lived that life. I've been around with people involved in that. I'm going to continue to do what I do.
Right, because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
Try to encourage the kids to do the right thing. That doesn't mean that I lived a perfect life. I'm telling them to stay away from them negative things so that they won't ruin their life.
Imagine a time when MC Hammer was feared by the most notorious gangs, a certified gangster in his own right, and yet he never stepped foot into one of Diddy's infamous parties. Why? Was it out of respect, fear, or something much darker beneath the glitz and glamour?
That goddamn MC Hammer, very serious about beef. Y'all motherfuckers laugh and y'all joke about Hammer? No, 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 no.
And how did Diddy's rise to power in the music industry play a role in MC Hammer's noticeable absence from those legendary events? But what if I told you that this decision may have been rooted in something far more dangerous? Perhaps Hammer knew what everyone else is just now beginning to learn about Diddy.
As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines.
From the streets to the stage, MC Hammer dominated the rap game in the early 90s. With his flashy moves, undeniable charisma, and hit tracks like You Can't Touch This, he became a household name. But beneath the glitz and glamour, there was a side of Hammer that very few knew: his reputation as one of the most feared men in the rap industry. And while many rappers back then were trying to navigate their way around dangerous industry figures like Suge Knight and Diddy, MC Hammer was someone even these heavyweights wouldn't dare cross.
Without spending any money, Hammer could have told some people to him to like that wouldn't have been, it wouldn't have, I know who Hammer was affiliated with, and he wouldn't have to pay to tell somebody.
So why did a man of MC Hammer's stature and influence never grace the wild, star-studded parties of Sean Diddy Combs? How could a man who danced his way into America's hearts also command such a terrifying reputation that kept Diddy at arm's length? In the early 90s, Hammer was more than just a rapper. He was embedded in street culture. This side is so low-key that it only comes out when provoked, and when it does, it's something to behold. Even one of the most notorious gangs ever, the Crips, ended up apologizing to him after they tried to test him.
What's up, man? I apologize for the thing. I didn't know, the people you knew or whatever, this and that. I apologize for what I did, brother. It's all good. We cool. We good. Hammer's like, yeah, it's all right.
In 2022, MC Hammer started trending on X because of a viral photo featuring Big Syke, Suge Knight, Snoop Dogg, Tupac, and Hammer at the 1996 Grammys. They were all decked out in their 90s finest. Hammer stood on the far right, arms neatly crossed behind his back, smiling, while everyone else had serious, mean-mugging expressions. The tweet accompanying the photo read, "I don't think I've ever seen anyone more out of place than Hammer was in this photo, LOL," but Twitter wasn't having it. They quickly set the record straight about the Oakland legend, making it clear that Hammer, despite his flashy pants, pop superstardom, and ability to win over your mom, was not someone to be underestimated. The Twitter explosion showed the vast difference between what hip-hop insiders know about MC Hammer and what mainstream pop culture thinks it knows about him. Despite Hammer's image as a pop icon who shuffled across stages and sold sneakers and Taco Bell in commercials, stories of his more streetwise traits have been circulating in both the East Bay and the wider hip-hop community for years. For those who aren't in the know, let's talk about the time the Crips tried to mess with Hammer. Benito, MC Hammer's vocalist, once shared a story about how Hammer clashed with Michael Concepcion, one of the original founding members of the LA Crip street gang. Michael lost his legs in a gang shooting in 1977 when he was 21, so he's been in a wheelchair ever since. According to Benito, they had just finished an event and were getting ready to hop into their vans and head back to their hotel when they spotted Michael in his wheelchair, surrounded by about 4 Crips. They were wondering why gang members were hanging around when Michael called out to Hammer saying he wanted to talk to him. Michael told Hammer that since they were in LA and anything could happen, Hammer should call on him for protection.
It's this dude in his wheelchair and about 4 or 5 dudes with him, hanging out. I know they Crips because my cousins all Crips in LA. So I'm like, there's some gangbangers. What they doing out here? They're like, hey, I want to holler at you for a minute, Hammer.
Hammer, taken aback, asked why he would need protection when he had 12 bodyguards who were no small fries themselves. Some of them were even Obviously, Hammer didn't feel the need for Michael's protection, but Michael kept insisting, saying that if Hammer didn't hire him, something could happen to him and he should watch his back. It was like Michael was threatening Hammer.
What's that, protection for what? See, man, I got 12 bodyguards out there and for 5 of them straight kill. You know what I'm saying? What you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I don't need no protection. I mean, man, if you don't, something could happen to you, whatever. He said, what you trying to say? He said, you need to go ahead and, take care of that and everything will be cool. He said, you trying to start strangling on me?
At this point, Hammer got mad. They started exchanging heated words, and Hammer's bodyguards were ready to take the gang members out, but Hammer stopped them. He then told Michael that all he had to do was make one phone call and all the nonsense would go away. True to his word, Michael came back the next morning to apologize to Hammer.
People looking like, yeah, I'm waiting for you to move. Hammer, hey, what's up? He said, hey man, it's like this. I'll make one phone call and all this will go away. Let me talk to you for a minute. And Hammer said, what's up, man? He said, man, I apologize for the thing. I didn't know, the people you knew and whatever, this and that. And I apologize for what I did, brother. It's all good. We cool. We good. And Hammer's like, yeah, it's all right.
Apparently, Hammer had even bigger connections that were more powerful and dangerous than Michael and his crew. From that point on, there were no problems between Hammer and Michael or the Crips. There are also some interviews with 5 MCs that put Hammer in a whole new light. For instance, MC Search from New York's Third Bass has repeatedly claimed that MC Hammer put out a hit on their group over a lyric in their song, The Cactus. The line in question, "The cactus turned Hammer's mother out," was a play on the title of Third Bass's 1989 album, The Cactus Album, and Hammer's record from the same year, Turn This Mutha Out. In 2015, Search told The Ed Lover Show about receiving death threats from Hammer's brother Louis Burrell during a flight to Los Angeles. "We're in the air," Search said, and Carmen Ashurst Watson, who was the president of Def Jam at the time, picks up the phone and hears someone say, "Is Third Bass on their way to LA?" And she goes, "Yeah," and the voice says, "Good, they're dead. This is Louis Burrell." Search claimed that the $50,000 hit was confirmed by fellow Def Jam artist Eric B. and was supposed to be carried out by the Los Angeles Crips.
So we were saying our album was doper, but we were saying it in New York slick. Like we had some slick talk coming out our mouth.
Right.
Hammer thought we were talking about us his mom. This is a big movement. This is going to be a movie.
Right.
We're in the air. And Carmen Ashurst Watson, who was the president of Def Jam at the time, picks up the phone. And Eric B. basically puts a feeler out and finds out it's true. That there's a hit out on Third Base with the Crips.
In a later interview, Search said the fear and anger over the incident have never left him. "I'm not good," he told Vlad TV in 2018. "I've been through 25 years of therapy 3 days a week. I am not good. I wish I could be good. But when somebody tries to K-word you over a rap lyric, understand what it feels like to not know that you can turn a corner without someone trying to unalive you for $50,000.
I've gone through 25 years of therapy 3 days a week. I am not good. I wish I could be good. But when somebody tries to you over a rap lyric?
This situation led to speculation that MC Hammer might have been involved with the Crips, but Hammer never claimed any gang affiliation. Redman, however, made the mistake of dissing Hammer on his 1992 album Woot, the album during an interlude called Funky Uncles, where he insulted Hammer and his family. Later, Redman admitted that Hammer's associates chased him out of Oakland after the diss, saying they were serious, and he and his crew barely managed to escape. In 1995, when both rappers were on the set of the final episode of Yo MTV Raps, Hammer reportedly confronted Redman, telling him he was young but making it clear that he didn't tolerate anyone disrespecting his mother. Redman, feeling the gravity of the situation, acknowledged that he quickly backed down, understanding Hammer's reputation and wanting to maintain good relations on the West Coast. He later said he had learned his lesson, explaining that people may laugh about MC Hammer, but Hammer was very serious about handling beef, especially in the Bay Area where anyone who disrespected him faced real consequences.
That goddamn MC Hammer, very serious about beef. Y'all laugh and y'all joke about Hammer. No. He used to what anybody who talk come to the Bay Area, they was in for it. Cause we seen it. I seen it.
In a 2018 interview, Too Short expressed respect for MC Hammer, having come up around the same time. Hammer was a big dog, Too Short said. He got respect in the streets. He came from a respected crew. They handled business. Him and his brother Louis and the crew. Asked about the alleged hit Hammer put out on MC Search, Too Short said the only part he didn't believe was the $50,000, because Hammer would never have to pay for such services. Without spending any money, he could have told people to FMC Search the F up. Too Short said, I know who Hammer was affiliated with, and he wouldn't have to pay to tell somebody to F somebody up. His people would just do it. We're from Oakland. Like, he wouldn't even have to say it.
Any money, Hammer could have told some people to him to like that wouldn't have been, it wouldn't have, I know who Hammer was affiliated with, and he wouldn't have to pay to tell somebody to somebody up.
During a 2020 chat with E40 for All Urban Central, Fat Joe mentioned encountering Hammer one time in the Las Vegas airport. Joe said Hammer greeted him warmly, then proceeded to explain that he wasn't to be trifled with. He was like, you know I get it poppin' for real, Joe recalled. E40 was in no way surprised by this news. Well, he's from Oakland for one, the Vallejo rapper responded that. He's from the town. He's highly respected and connected. You know what I mean? All the fixtures and factors know him, he knows them. He rocks it, he's heavy. His brother's gangsta. Hammer is far from a sucker. And Hammer's physically fit. You know he'll put hands on you.
You know, it's entertainment. So he tried to let me know. We sat down. He was like, yo, don't get it. You know, I'm a real gangster from Oakland. I was like, yo, Hammer, you ain't got to do this to me.
But if you think MC Hammer's only beefs were with a few artists, think again. He also had a clash with one of the biggest names in the industry, Jay-Z. Hammer dropped a diss track aimed at Jay-Z, complete with a video where a lookalike of Jay-Z is chased through the woods by a devil-like figure. In the video, Hammer makes threats saying he'll knock Jay-Z out. Surprisingly, when the Jay-Z character runs into Hammer by a lake, he ends up defeating the devil and gets symbolically baptized by Hammer. At first, it seemed like Hammer's diss was a response to a line Jay-Z rapped on a Kanye West track that referenced Hammer's financial troubles in the mid-90s. But Hammer later explained that his real issue with Jay-Z had more to do with Jay's use of Christian imagery in his lyrics and videos. Hammer, who was also an ordained minister, specifically pointed to Jay-Z's songs On to the Next One and Empire State of Mind as offensive to his religious beliefs. Jay-Z didn't engage in the beef though. He told BBC One Extra that he didn't know Hammer's financial problems were off limits and said he had a lot of respect for him, something he even mentioned in his upcoming book. Still, Hammer claimed victory in the feud, saying the video showed people that Jay-Z was disrespecting his faith. Who would have thought Hammer could go up against some of the biggest names in the business and still keep his reputation? Hammer really showed he had a serious side in the rap game. Despite his tough demeanor and street connections, Hammer didn't have it easy growing up. Stanley Kirk Burrell, better known as MC Hammer, was born in Oakland, California on March 30th, 1962. His father was a professional poker player and a casino manager, while his mother worked as a secretary. Growing up, they were pretty poor. Imagine this, 6 kids crammed into a 3-bedroom apartment in a housing project in East Oakland. It was rough, surrounded by drugs and crime. His parents split when he was just 5, leaving his mom to raise him and his siblings. When asked how he managed to avoid the illegal activities around him, Hammer always pointed to his deep love for his mother and his determination not to let her down. As a kid, he found ways to earn extra cash by hustling tickets from the Oakland A's baseball players and reselling them. Thanks to his older brothers who had jobs with the team, he was already familiar with the sports scene. He'd also put on dance shows in the parking lot, radio in hand, showing off his early passion for dance and entertainment. One day, Charles Finley, the owner of the Oakland A's, noticed Hammer and was impressed by his talent. This led to a life-changing opportunity for young Stanley. He was hired as a clubhouse assistant at just 9 years old. His hard work and dedication left a lasting impression on Finley and the team, eventually leading him to a vice president position within the organization by his early teens. Baseball played a big part in shaping Hammer's identity. Oakland A's outfielder Reggie Jackson noticed Hammer's resemblance to fellow outfielder Hank Aaron, nicknamed the Hammer. After high school, Hammer tried college but got disheartened and decided to join the Navy. He served for several years and received an honorable discharge. During his time in the military, he made music demos with a roommate in their barracks. After leaving the Navy, Hammer spent some time in a gospel hip-hop group called the Holy Ghost Boys. This diverse journey added to his rich career in music. Post-military, Hammer pursued his passion for music with a substantial loan from a couple of former Oakland A's players. This financial backing helped him establish his record label, Busted Productions, and he founded Bustin' Records, where he was the CEO. P. Diddy, on the other hand, was an entirely different figure. Gene Deal has been spilling some seriously scandalous tea about what went down behind the scenes and at Diddy's wild parties. And let's just say, it's not for the faint of heart. According to Gene, there were certain areas that Diddy would frequent, and his bodyguards were not allowed in. But that didn't stop the ladies who were invited from dishing all the juicy details to Gene. Apparently, he was privy to some pretty disturbing things that went on at these secret soirees, which involved some seriously sadistic and demonic behavior. Although he wasn't allowed into these private rooms, Gene still managed to get the inside scoop on what went on behind closed doors. He said that he was in a situation where he saw men being set up and lured by women at Diddy's parties, only for them to eventually end up in inappropriate positions with white men. He claimed that he also used to take Diddy and his friends to Turkish houses, and as much as he wasn't allowed into the houses, he knew what happened there.
Some things from up here on my left side, and then he picked like quite a few of them down. I'm like, okay. He put them in the bag. So when I went by there and I looked up there, and it said plugs, and I was like, hey yo.
Another person who similarly shared his feelings about Diddy being gay was 50 Cent. He once posted something on Instagram that he later deleted. The caption stated, "Sorry, I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy," 50 wrote. "You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy." 50 Cent also revealed that he felt weird around Diddy since the hip-hop star always acted gay. What's more, 50 Cent once posted 2 pictures of Diddy allegedly trying to smooch men. In one photo, the hip-hop mogul appears to be trying to lock lips with Rick Ross. In another photo, Diddy is wearing a pink shirt while hugging a former record executive, Steve Stout, who is also dressed in pink. "I ain't saying nothing, but something ain't right, Elmow," 50 Cent wrote in the caption. But it appears the rapper suddenly realized he'd gone too far. Soon after, the rapper removed the post from his Instagram account. In any case, it's no secret that Diddy hosts some pretty wild parties. In fact, recently an insider discussed Combs' parties in Ibiza, which included chocolate body paint, his personal S-bag, and a lot of celebrities. "No expense was spared," the source shared. "This was the last word in hedonism. We were approached by one of his PAs, Dia, and did everything for them from the moment they touched down on the island. That included cars, tables at clubs, yachts, security, and DJs, and some guests for his parties. There were a lot of glamorous women there, young girls but not underage, which we wouldn't have stood for." The insider added that one party had partygoers in various states of undress, and part of their responsibility was for the party to run smoothly. "Ibiza is the place in Europe to party hard," the source added, noting that Diddy had a S-bag he packed for the trip. The bag included S-toys and lubricants. "But Diddy's parties were truly something else," they continued. "I remember one time being sent out in the early hours to buy chocolate body paint." The insider added that Combs' long-term girlfriend, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, was often present for the parties in Ibiza, but she looked unhappy and stayed out of sight. Puffy is known for his wild parties, and many celebrities have visited his homes to party with him. Stevie J is a good friend of Combs, and he posted footage from a real Diddy party to Instagram. The party is from Combs' 50th birthday bash in Beverly Hills in 2019. Aside from the creepy parties, Diddy's influence in the music industry has been legendary. He isn't just a businessman, he is a master manipulator, pulling the strings behind the careers of many of the artists under his Bad Boy label. But Diddy's tactics weren't just business savvy, they were often cutthroat and dangerous. From being creepy around young rappers to allegedly taking control of their personal lives, many have spoken out about how Diddy ran his empire with an iron fist. Artists like Mace, The Lox, and even the late Notorious Big have been rumored to have had issues with the way Diddy controlled them, often profiting off their success while limiting their growth and autonomy. But despite his overwhelming power in the industry, there were still those he couldn't touch, MC Hammer being one of them. One of the key reasons Diddy never approached MC Hammer or invited him to his parties stems from the fact that MC Hammer was not someone who could be manipulated or controlled. Where Diddy thrived off of molding and preparing younger, more malleable rappers, MC Hammer was already a fully formed powerhouse who demanded respect.
Without spending any money, Hammer could have told some people to like that wouldn't have been, it wouldn't have, I know who Hammer was affiliated with, and he wouldn't have to pay to tell somebody to somebody up.
There's even speculation that Diddy, who has been linked to the East Coast versus West Coast rap feud, would have known better than to mess with Hammer, who was respected by the West Coast's most feared individuals. This connection to the streets, particularly his association with Death Row Records and Tupac, made Hammer untouchable. Hammer had aligned himself with Tupac during one of the most volatile times in hip-hop history, and Diddy knew the potential consequences of crossing someone so deeply rooted in West Coast street politics.
The Pac I was with was his last 8 months at Death Row. I was with him every day.
Even the last day, the last night.
Diddy's business model was all about control, and Hammer wasn't someone he could exert that control over. It's no wonder Hammer never attended his infamous parties. There was no room for someone as independent and street-savvy as MC Hammer in Diddy's carefully curated circle. Another crucial element in understanding why MC Hammer and Diddy never crossed paths is Hammer's unwavering loyalty to Tupac and the West Coast rap scene. While Diddy was busy cultivating his East Coast empire, Hammer was solidifying his legacy on the West, making him an automatic enemy in the eyes of Diddy and his camp. MC Hammer paid tribute to Tupac regularly, even after his death, further cementing his loyalty to the West Coast. Given Diddy's alleged involvement in the circumstances surrounding Tupac's, Hammer would have had every reason to avoid associating with Diddy's parties, and by extension, Diddy's empire. This stark contrast between Hammer's loyalty to Tupac and Diddy's alleged betrayal only deepens the divide between the two. Hammer wasn't interested in mingling with someone who had such a complicated and controversial history with one of his closest friends in the industry. In the early 2000s, rumors swirled about Diddy's infamous manipulations. From using artists to build his own brand to the exploitation of their work, Diddy's reputation as a ruthless businessman was well established. But MC Hammer wasn't someone Diddy could exploit, not just because of his street ties, but because Hammer knew the industry's dark side all too well. Hammer himself had witnessed the way artists were chewed up and spat out by the industry, and he wasn't going to let that happen to him. He exposed the music industry on multiple occasions, speaking out about how he lived by his own rules and refused to play by the corrupt standards set by moguls like Diddy. In the end, MC Hammer's absence from Diddy's parties wasn't just a matter of preference, it was a powerful statement. Hammer had his own legacy, his own respect, and his own code. He didn't need the approval of Diddy or the allure of his extravagant lifestyle. Instead, Hammer chose a path that aligned with his values, one that kept him away from the manipulative, dangerous games Diddy played in the industry. So while many artists fell into Diddy's orbit, becoming trapped in a web of exploitation and control, MC Hammer remained untouchable, an icon who danced to the beat of his own drum, far away from Diddy's grasp. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.